So now you need come. Make I do a sharp for you. I mean, you don't need that. Eh? And now your clothes. I mean, what we have. No, you want to.
No problem. No problem. People don't know what to talk. What to talk about. No problem. No problem.
You can't take measurements.
Come and take.
You have to be coming down or catch it.
But to let what happened in 1930, not to repeat it. But not to forget.
Which will happen here?
The last time I gave you cloth, what did you do? What did you do?
Okay, that time, I'm doing lockdown.
Okay.
And
This is the lockup. This is the lockup.
You know, you don't part now. Yeah, but you know, no worry. I will take your own measurement.
And I see by that they laugh. I won't make you stand up and take the measurement if I don't. But no stand up, me, I tell you. You don't come and show. You show. Yeah, what deal? Yeah, wait now. I will start to collect commission. Percentage. Yes. Because they reach one time now, the customer will come in the club, so they buy something.
This one a better collab be this. So when people come take their measurement, then go get food. And we know the same. So the one way no chop food, we'll take the measurement. No do that.
Who no chop?
Who no chop food?
No, no go take a measurement. I don't do. Why do you do? Give me percentage.
Yeah, good. Yeah, like you stand up.
Too smart.
Stand up.
Ole. Look, no, I'm here.
Don't hurry.
They're not.
Make your white fabrics whiter and your home free of illness causing viruses and germs with the disinfecting power of Hypo Bleach. Now available in 200 ml bigger sachet.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets. With Panadol's Optizol formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Caplets.
Don't just wake up your child. Wake up the champion in them. Give them energy to help them win every day with Milo at breakfast. Milo Active Go and the natural goodness of malt, milk, and cocoa helps wake up the champion in your child. Milo.
I talk, say make we quick, make we fast. I not talk, say make we go kill yourself. Huh?
What happened to you? Ross, what happened to him?
I think a small accident will happen. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, boss.
Him jump best, but I can't jump.
You get that for the key market side.
I don't know whether like an accident caused the roadblock. I just walk out come see the accident happen. One motor jam car, and they come from the back of the motor with speed, and so he jammed the motor, and the motor scattered, and so the car died.
Wait,
want to sustain this injury.
just the way I sent it. I said, make help me buy with cow meat. I don't talk to me go kill cow. Hey,
Yeah. Maybe I need to get that. As you call me, that's look at follow road. Middle block. Because other sorry, other road don't block. See my follow this. One man they drive go down. I saw cow, they run with the enter road. Then the man just bam, before he go match play, he don't hit the car. I mean, put one day back. Make I match my your play.
Pele. Hope you are not in so much pain, eh? Have you gone to the hospital? Ross, have you taken to the hospital?
Hospital. Now, one pharmacy wey dey near where na there carry am. Na there dey treat am, bandage am like this.
But this
Don't give am small.
this is not all.
Pharmacy.
Sorry, you go dey fine.
Everything from my bike. The back is everything. It's everything for sure.
carry on. Oh yeah.
Beer, man. That is the difference between a man and woman. See a man. See, if you don't want to.
Sorry, sir.
You tell me that this boy will be very well. He's doing it even better. All like my container, they hanging on the road. The road will tell you.
Gee, sometimes I don't understand you. What's up with that one? You mean say your container, now you better pass no talent, abi? What's up with that one?
You want to contain my no, that if you don't know your car, they are not up to 200,000.
Chidi, see that your container. Well,
What about the container?
you know, say they expect that say you come Abuja go enter.
It will enter.
You no go enter. Now me tell you.
Yeah, don't go.
I don't enter. You wicked man.
No problem with you. Yeah,
You 1 million. 1 million of you not rich like this for my friend. It be
You leave Chidi, abeg, leave Chidi.
what they do you?
human being, you man in life. Okay, that is why you are playing bad player for me.
You know what?
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
And yellow, the jungle, with the initiative, but there's a swift counter there by Dang Autankudawa. They are sweating it out there. Quite literally, you can see how much beads of sweat. Oh, see the razzmatazz there from Algenin to Basra, and I like it. So much resistance level in him, so much resistance, and I bet you Algenin Metakwasara has a lot to do here today. Here is Algenin Dogon Ebola taking on Bahagun Dan Sanda. Algenin Dogon Ebola is the one where, and Algenin Dogon Ebola has been killed. Something stylish about them. And Bahagun Dan Sanda is also dramatic about it.
This is the network service of the NTA.
Society may no longer define marriage in the only way marriage has ever been defined in the annals of recorded history. Marriage involving a man and more than one wife has multiple factors, which include economic, sexual, religious, and socio-political. Whatever the justification for this kind of union, it frequently has a legal status and is recognized as marriage system comparable to monogamy. This is African Literature on the NTA, Africa's largest television network, and I am Nene Basi. Glad to know you're watching. African Literature today takes a look at polygamy in Africa.
Polygamy, the practice of one man being married to multiple wives at the same time, is a common family structure in many parts of sub-Saharan Africa. Polygamy is widespread practice, socially and culturally accepted phenomena in many African countries. Polygamy as an old practice is essentially recognized under customary law or religious practices where a man is allowed to marry more than one wife under certain conditions, including the financial capability to support multiple wives and families. Historically, many factors are thought to have perpetuated polygamy in Africa. A traditional African man needs many children, especially sons, to ensure the survival of the lineage and to increase his power within the clan. Demand for children is higher on the average in sub-Saharan Africa than any other region, with the fertility rate of about 5.1 birth per woman, according to the United Nations. Other factors are high mortality rate of men, infertility, menopause, and satisfaction of sexual desires. Remaining a single person in an African context is an extreme difficult choice to make. The belief that every woman must have a husband and every man a wife has created a situation where a woman could prefer to be one of the several wives rather than being without a husband, as the latter situation could make her a social outcast. The legal status of a married woman can help protect her and allow her access to certain rights. Consequently, the practice of polygamy has been associated mainly with patriarchal social system in sub-Saharan Africa. However, according to advocates, polygamous marriage contravenes a woman's right to equality with men. Studies shows that women in polygamous marriages generally experience various degrees of emotional difficulties such as anger, jealousy, loneliness, unhappiness, emptiness, and feeling of rejection. According to the activists, polygamy is a major reason why world's poorest continent now account for most of the growth in the global population, possible contributor to Africa's low saving rate, widespread incidence of HIV, high level of children mortality, and female depression. The spirit of multiplication of wives and concubines has destroyed many promising destinies. It is the root of most divorce, remarrying, and early widowhood.
Lola Shone, a Nigerian poet and author who has forged a reputation as an adventurous and outspoken poet, encapsulates polygamy in her novel, The Secret Lives of Baba Shege's Wives.
The consciousness of an African man remains unshaken regardless of the level of westernization imbibed in terms of academic attainments, exposure, dressing, among others. When it comes to marriage, he remains an African. The tale of polygamy by Lola Shone's Secret Lives of Baba Shege's Wives illuminates the common thread that connects the experience of women, the hardship they bear, struggles to define themselves, and fierce desire to protect those they love.
The Secret Lives of Baba Sheki's Wives is the story covers the story of a polygamous family in southwestern Nigeria. You find Baba Shegi, who is married to four wives, and the most recent wife, who's the fourth one, Bolanle, is a graduate, a university graduate who is educated, like as opposed to the other three wives who have not had any formal Western education of any sort. And then you find the plot of the book is based on Bolanle's inability to conceive a child after 2 years of being married to Baba Shegi. And so this quest for a child and for finding solutions, or at least pointing out the problem of why Bolanle has been childless, now unravels a lot of secrets in the lives of all the other wives and what has been going on about Baba Shegi in the family.
Themes highlighted in the novel include polygamy, feminism, childlessness, marital rivalry. The list is endless.
There's the issue of childlessness, especially in the context of how the default position in marriages is to blame it on the woman without any scientific finding or consultation. So if there isn't a child in a marriage, the default position is to blame the woman. So we see that happen in Baba Shegi, or in the Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's wives. Another theme you find out is feminism, but in an interesting twist, in the sense that in the context of a polygamous family, you find Bolanle, an educated university graduate who finds that she is more independent and free in a polygamous marriage to Baba Shegi. And then, which begs the question, because a lot of times feminism is not discussed in this context, and so I think it's an interesting dynamic. But there is also marital rivalry, as you find in most polygamous homes. Yes. And yes, so these are the major themes, but there are so many other ones that would come up.
The novel displays the setting of the western part of Nigeria.
The author did spend some time in her life, especially for education, in London, in the UK, and some other places. But I think in the way she captures the story and the experiences, you find out that she's very in tune with the Nigerian society. And so the novel is based, the setting of the novel is set in the mid-90s to early 2000s, and in the southwestern Nigeria, I think chiefly Oyo State. Yes, and so you find a lot of the depictions of the Yoruba polygamous family setting, and as well as the society and so many others. But there are also influences, Nigerian influences, contemporary Nigerian influences. So you might see characters that might not be Yoruba or this thing in that context. Yes.
The use of dark humor and multiple narration helped to lighten some serious issues in the novel and firmed up the plot.
Use of dark humor, not just humor, but dark one. So you see the story, it's narrating someone's or a people's misfortune, and in the way it's being narrated, but it's still very funny, very much. You are aware that these are misfortunes, these are things that are befalling people and that you would not wish on yourself, but you are also compelled to laugh, because I think dark humor is a tricky thing to do without portraying something humorously, without making it, without being offensive. And so yes, that's one literary device Lola Shoneyin employs effectively. And there's also the use of the multiple narrations. The multiple narrations, you find out that the narrative point of view, there's the omniscient narrator that starts, and then there's now later you find that every major character in the book gets a chance to tell their own perspective or their own view of the story. And so you see Baba Shegi, you see Iya Shegi, you see Iya Tope, and then Bolanle, and all the other wives in the family. And so this rotates between the omniscient narrator and the major characters, which also helps to tighten the novel's plot. It tightens it and shows you how strong and how rounded it is. It's not just being told from one person's perspective, but it captures the major character's perspective.
The Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's Wives has been a cynosure of all eyes and is a must-read when it comes to contemporary African literature.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned, Lola Shoneyin's book should be read by anyone, first of all, by every Nigerian student, by every young Nigerian person, but also anyone who is interested in African literature, especially contemporary African literature, because a lot of times you hear when people talk about African literature, they think about Achebe, they think about Soyinka, they think about the
You know, Buchie Mecheta, Elechi Amadi, and all the older writers. And then when you get to contemporary, maybe they'll mention Chimamanda and Ngozi Adichie, and that's all. But it's actually, I have been doing this for a while. If I am to recommend the book to start with, when you want to read contemporary African literature or Nigerian literature, I usually go for The Secret Life of The Secret Lives of Baba Shegi's Wives, because you find out that it is arresting, it's entertaining, but it's also steeped in the Nigerianness of the Nigerian experience. You see that it's not pretentious. It doesn't necessarily have to be Western in its point of view, but just the narration of it. And so it's entertaining enough to keep even someone who gets easily bored. You want to read it to the end. And so if you are able to read that one, you want to read more Nigerian literature. So yes, it's my go-to book for initial recommendation on reading Nigerian literature.
Lola Shonegin's novel is one of the few works in African literature that successfully captured family life and zoomed into a typical polygamous home.
About 10 years old now, and it's still very relevant. It's still interesting, and because it's one of the few books that have succinctly captured polygamy in the Nigerian society. Of course, you think about our husband has gone mad again, or our wives have gone mad again, and then you find that it captures the family setting of the Nigerian and zooms it in. But I don't think I have read a Nigerian or an African book that is so focused and zoomed in on polygamy or the Nigerian family life as it relates to polygamy.
Our culture, our identity. We are Nigerian.
We are Africans. Keep watching African Literature on NTA International.
The Secret Lives of Baba Shege's Wives is indeed a must-read for everyone. Arts composition comes up next.
Lola Shoneyin made her fiction debut with The Secret Lives of Baba Shege's Wives, a perceptive, entertaining, and eye-opening novel of polygamy in modern-day Nigeria. The novel debuted in May 2010 in the United Kingdom, and it captures the struggles, rivalries, intricacies of family politics, and interplay of personalities and relationships within the complex private world of a polygamous union. The family runs smoothly until the arrival of the fourth wife, a soft-spoken university graduate, Bolanle, who is quickly ostracized by her illiterate co-wives. However, she is determined to give Baba Shege the children he expects. Her failure to conceive exposes a dark family secret. This revelation has devastating consequences for the entire household. Titilola Atinuke Alexandra Shoneyin, born 26th February 1974 in Ibadan, Nigeria, studied at Fettles Junior Secondary School, Edinburgh, Ogun State University, and London Metropolitan University. In 2014, she was named in the Hay Festivals of Africa 39, list of 39 sub-Saharan African writers aged under 40 with potential and talent to define trends in African literature. She was longlisted for the 2011 Orange Prize for Fiction, won the Penn Oakland 2011 Josephine Miles Literary Award, and as well as Ken Saro-Wiwa Award for Prose in Nigeria. In 2017, she was named African Literary Person of the Year by Brittle Paper. She has taught both in Nigeria and abroad for many years. Themes highlighted in the novel include freedom, feminism, polygamy, sex, power dynamics over women in marriage, a synopsis of an African woman dilemma, and many more. Her other works include Song of a Riverbird, Harlot, So All the Time I Was Sitting on an Egg, For the Love of Flight, Mayowa and the Masquerade, Serpent's Trail. She also has poems, children's stories, and many other works.
Lola Shome has indeed carved a niche for herself in contemporary African literature. Now, let's add an instrument to our collection of literary tools.
Synecdoche. The word synecdoche comes from the ancient Greek word synecdoche, which means simultaneous understanding. It is a figure of speech in which a word or phrase that refers to a part of something is substituted to stand in for the whole or vice versa. For example, the phrase "all hands on deck" is a demand for all of the crew to help, yet the word "hands," just a part of the crew, stands in for the whole crew. Types of synecdoche. There are two main types of synecdoche: microcosm and macrocosm synecdoche. Microcosm uses a part of something to refer to the entirety, while macrocosm is the phrase for synecdoche in which a larger whole signifies a smaller collection of a parts. Examples of synecdoche include boots on the ground, referring to soldiers; new wheels, referring to a new car; ask for a hand, this could mean asking a woman to marry; suits, this can refer to business people; plastic, this can refer to credit card; the White House or Aso Villa, this can refer to statements made by individuals with the United States and Nigerian government. Importance of synecdoche. Synecdoche in literature is not merely ornamental, but one of the chief ways to describe and discover truths in literature. It displays and creates new connections in a way that humans understand concepts. By exploring its usage in literature, we are able to better understand the human mind.
Literary instruments are indeed the driver of all forms of literary works, and we have a whole lot of them at our disposal. Till we see you again next week, please stay safe and reflect on this African wise saying.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
I bring you wonderful news. The village headmaster is coming back to your street.
Rugged, you just go for you, I don't know for you.
Second, it's called Oja Village. We know happy at all.
And I know that even you too, you are getting a lot of orders. Hey, you are trying.
I love you so much.
And how did I give you the impression?
50-year anniversary.
You mean anniversary?
I think that's why I talk with that now.
By glow.
Leather industry in Kano is as old as the beginning of the Hausa civilization. Spanning over 1,000 of years, the industry supplied leather materials to the hinterland and also served as a major trade link between Kano and other parts of the world through transparent trade. It flourished for many years and served as an essential economic mainstay of the Hausa land. In Kano today, few tanneries struggle to operate at a capacity quite inadequate to feed the local leather industries. And this has no doubt stunted their growth, not only in Kano, but other parts of Nigeria. This is Majema local leather industry or traditional leather industry in Kofar Wambai area of the city of Kano. This place is believed to have existed for over 90 years. It is indeed a haven for different categories of people, irrespective of their ages.
We grew up into the business of tanning, which we inherited from our forefathers. I think this place is over 80 years. And for how long have you been into this trade? I've been into this trade for approximately 50 years.
As you can see, all activities to do with leather processing is being carried out here.
I happen to see myself in this trade. My parents and their parents were also in the occupation. At least, I have spent over 15 years working here. I tanned a specific leather called tundra, a skin of python, just like this one. I also operate on skin of crocodile and goats, among many others.
In spite of the serious decline in its operations and profitability across the value chain, some business people in Kano still see prospect in leather business and are determined to stay in it.
So now we increase the capacity instead of 15,000 a day, we make it as 30,000 pieces. That's our capacity for right now. But we have the plan to increase more, to make it like 50 to 60,000 pieces a day.
When we receive the raw skins, we are going to grade the skins by size. After that, we are going to trim. We want to make the skin to be shaped from the starting stage itself. From there, we will take the skin to the process so that the bacteria will put some chemicals to avoid the bacteria so the skins will not spoil.
One cannot overemphasize the value this industry adds to the economy, and it is worrisome that this once highly prosperous industry will be allowed to decay.
Well, you can see how many people you employ here. Before, some people here is not more than 200 people are working in this place. Now we have more than 500 people, and we want to increase our capacity. We need more people again.
For the leather industry to thrive, government must invest substantially in the local content and re-emphasize on policies that encourage all players in the industry.
Days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet, and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on.
Hello and welcome to the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We are broadcasting live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Dennis Adigunloye. Thanks for joining us. Let's begin with the headlines. President Buhari orders rescue of Nigerians in captivity.
Mr. President has directed all the operational and intelligence elements to rescue these innocent people.
Troops of multinational joint task force squashed 27 terrorists. INEC presents 2023 election project plan.
The planning process is virtually completed. The Commission will now focus its attention on election technology and election administration.
And Ogun Cleanup, Ministry of Environment tasked to work out ways to promptly deliver on project.
Fix our eyes on the ball to ensure there are no distractions that we deliver.
All right, let's begin with security matters. President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the nation's armed forces and other security services to do whatever it takes towards immediately rescuing unharmed all Nigerians in captivity. The president gave the marching order while addressing the meeting of the National Security Council. State House correspondent Adam Musamba reports that the council also allayed fears in respect of the forthcoming general elections.
The crucial meeting that lasted about 4 hours was summoned by President Muhammadu Buhari following suggestions received from the last Council of State meeting on the way forward towards achieving lasting peace, stability, and public order across the country. During the meeting, all strategic and operational issues in respect of internal security management in Nigeria were reviewed and far-reaching measures adopted towards ensuring that all those behind the security breaches, economic sabotage, and wanton destruction of lives and property are dealt with decisively. The National Security Advisor, Babagana Mungunu, told journalists that for a start, President Buhari directed that all those in captivity in the hideouts of the various criminal gangs be rescued unharmed.
Mr. President spoke about his sadness in respect of the recent developments in the country, in particular the incident in which several Nigerians lost their lives and many more had been taken into captivity by criminals and bandits. Mr. President has directed all the operational and intelligence elements to rescue these innocent people immediately and unhurt. Not just those that were captured during the last train incident, but those that have been in captivity in other parts of the country. That is the first thing that has to be done.
The National Security Advisor, in particular, submitted to the Council wide-ranging recommendations that touched on all aspects of security within the country, across the land borders, as well as the needs and challenges of all the operational elements.
The most important thing for now is acquisition of intelligence. And the type of intelligence that is needed is human intelligence. And I need to make it very, very clear. I have to be very honest. Unless the wider society, right down to the local governments, are willing to give the type of information that is needed to block the activities of these criminals, this situation will continue to linger beyond whatever time frame we're looking at towards ending this great problem. A lot of lives are being lost. The president is not happy about this situation. He's made it very, very clear. And his displeasure is probably because he feels enough is not being done.
The National Security Council, which noted with satisfaction the significant achievements recorded in securing the nation's maritime domain, as well as containing the Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast, promised to ensure that same is replicated in the northwest and north central parts of the country.
The issue of general election, we are very conscious of the fact that even before the general election, we have staggered election that is coming up in the next maybe 8 weeks, the issue of Oshun and Ikiti. All the service chiefs and the heads of security agents are members of the Interagency Consultative Forum on Election. We are assessing the security situation. I am aware INEC had expressed its fears and so forth. And we believe the narrative will change for the better in terms of securing the country to enable us conduct general election and even the staggered elections.
The meeting of the National Security Council was the first for the year 2022. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, troops of the multinational Joint Task Force are said to have rescued 6 kidnapped victims and eliminated more than 27 Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists during recent clearance operations. The 6 kidnapped victims were abducted between 2020 and 2021 from Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. A statement by the Chief of Military Public Information Headquarters of the Multinational Joint Task Force, N'Djamena, Chad, Colonel Mohammed Dule, says the intelligence-driven operation, codenamed Operation Lake Sanity, spanned through Tumbun Fulani, Tumbun Rago, Gagam, Kabalewa, and Ngwimi. Several criminal enclaves, gun trucks, and arms were destroyed in the ongoing clearance operations that have accorded captives an avenue to escape. And the 6 rescued women who spent almost 2 years in captivity have been received at the headquarters of the Theatre Command of Operation Hadinkai in Maiduguri, the Borno state capital. Maimuna Garba reports.
I was captured on 18 December from Menok to Maiduguri. We have really suffered, but we thank for the Nigerian army. They have gone and rescued our life. I'm from Kwekusa local government, Borno State. On my way back to Maiduguri, I was kidnapped on the 19th of October 2020. I was taken to Tebet in Chadi. It was hell for me on it. We do hard labors, insult, names calling.
These are some of the rescued women explaining their agonies while in terrorist captivity. They were kidnapped at different locations in Adamawa, Borno, Gombe, and Yobe states between October 2020 to April 2021. Theater Commander Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa said the joint operations Lake Sanity and Desert Sanity is recording tremendous successes as the insurgents are being decimated on a daily basis. He said apart from the ongoing offensive to clear the theater, the military is rescuing many hostages, pointing out that they are not relenting till all the criminal elements are degraded within the theater and shores of the lake Chad.
These ones were taken and we were not aware. No information got to us until they were rescued. So it is important when something happens, people should learn to report to the police, and once you do that to the police, it will get across to us. Wherever the insurgents are, we will go after them. And all those they are holding will ensure that we free them so that they can come back and live a normal life.
The rescued women will, after undergoing all necessary investigations by the military, be handed over to the Department of State Security Service in Maiduguri, from where they will be reunited with their families. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Here in Abuja, the FCT Police Command says it will keep the heat on every element of crime in the nation's capital to restore confidence and security in the territory. This, it says, is evident through the Commissioner of Police night patrol operation currently ongoing. Onotu Yakubu has been monitoring the operation.
This time, the Compol night patrol operation went through Abuja Northeast, covering Kabusa, Apogudu, Durumi, and Galadimawa axes. Area Commander Karu, Assistant Commissioner of Police Philomena Lawrence, commands the operation with DPOs from the areas of responsibility supporting. The operation is targeted at closing the space on crime and criminality, as well as mopping up elements that may be caught right in the act.
Apo is a very large area. Kabusa and Galadimawa, the areas we have patrolled. We know the type of crimes that are prevalent in these places.
The hinterlands of the target communities felt the presence of the team with surprise visits to pin down spots to boost the morale of patrol teams.
We have come out. We are after them. They cannot continue to make the inhabitants of these areas uncomfortable. We have decided to make them uncomfortable. So it's either they change their ways of life or they leave Abuja completely.
Since their birds have learned to fly without perching, our hunters will perfect shooting without missing. This was the analogy the area commander used to affirm the police resolve to sustain the tempo of the operation against criminals in the FCT. Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
On its part, the Nigeria Governors Forum expresses commitment to intensifying the war against illicit drug trafficking and abuse, which is a leading factor for growing cases of insecurity in parts of the country. The forum, in its fourth teleconference in 2022, promises to strengthen the collaboration with the NDLEA to tackle the menace head-on and prosecute peddlers, no matter their status in the society, through enhanced operational synergy. The Nigeria Governors Forum also resolved to combat outbreaks of Lassa fever, measles, and cases of meningitis in parts of the country, and pledged to sustain immunization and strengthen epidemic preparedness and response strategies with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and global partners. It says it will improve public financial management outcomes and promote adoption of e-procurements and open contracting data standards under state transparency, accountability, and sustainability. Now, Minister of Environment has been directed to fashion out effective strategies towards addressing all concerns raised by partners and stakeholders in respect of the Ogoni cleanup so that the project can be delivered in good time. President Muhammadu Buhari gave the directive at a meeting with the Minister of Environment, Mohammed Abdullahi, on the state of affairs in the ministry. State House correspondent Adam Sambu has details.
The meeting held behind closed doors was the first since the redeployment of Muhammad Abdullahi to the Ministry of Environment as substantive minister. It was therefore an opportunity for the minister to bring the president up to speed on the level of implementation of key priority projects being executed by the Environment Ministry. The hydrocarbon pollution remediation project, otherwise called the Ogoni cleanup, is one of them.
It's a major priority of this government, and particularly based on the undertaking and the promises made by Mr. President to deliver a very clean ecosystem for the Ogoni people. So I have updated the President on that, and the key understanding is that we are focused on delivery. He has given us marching orders to ensure that the concerns raised by the partners, particularly Shell, UNEP, AGIP, Total, and other parties, and indeed the stakeholders themselves of the Ogoni land, that those concerns are addressed to ensure that the process goes unhindered. We are directed, particularly by the President, to be very focused and fix our eyes on the ball to ensure there are no distractions, that we deliver.
Issues relating to the Great Green Wall were also discussed with the Nigerian leader, who is the president of the Conference of the Pan-African Heads of State and Government on the project.
So Mr. President has directed us to hold Council of States, of member states of the Pan-African Great Green Wall, to hold a meeting on the 16th of June this year to prepare an agenda for the eventual meeting of the Conference of Heads of States and Government to, one, look at the budget and strategic plan for this year for the member states, and then to ensure that we have modalities to access the over 16.2 billion euros that is available from funding partners of the project to support the processes of ensuring that we have a long belt across the Sahel to stop this desert encroachment.
President Buhari also used the opportunity to reaffirm his administration's commitment towards planting 25 million trees across Nigeria.
He has agreed at a later date to launch a multifaceted national tree planting campaign where the governors will be involved so that they can also replicate same in their states, and as well as local government chairmen and traditional rulers. And of course, I bring Mr. President on AgriSub project. Essentially, the program is focused on making uncultivatable land to be cultivatable, to make sure that people have access to clean water, to make sure that there will be usage of our land resources.
The president directed the minister to engage the World Bank, which earmarked $700 million to fund the project, which involves dry land remediation and management in the 19 northern states and the FCT. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, an assessment of progress in the Ogoni cleanup exercise is on course as federal government interfaces with joint venture partners to up the ante for expeditious implementation. On Nengie, Fineface tells us more.
On the list of priority areas in the environment sector is the Ogoni cleanup exercise. While boots are already on ground for the remediation component of the exercise, the federal government is exploring options for faster and efficient delivery of other components like the provision of potable water and revamping of marine-dependent livelihoods. To this effect, joint venture partners of the federal government are being engaged to review existing strategies for the exercise in Ogoni land.
Engage you on how we ensure we sustain the progress that we have made so far on this project, to ensure that issues of delivery and transparency are clearly on the table. So I really look forward on behalf of the JV to working with the Federal Ministry of Environment on this very important issue of the Ogoni cleanup project.
And the direction I got from Mr. President is to ensure that the HYPRA project stay on course, because he has promised, he has undertaken to ensure that the Ogoni cleanup exercise goes on unhindered without distraction.
This review will address identified challenges in procurement bottlenecks, stakeholder engagement, fund management, among others. On Nengie, Fineface, NTA News.
The news at 10 is reaching you live on NTA News 24. More reports after this break. Do stay with us.